welcome to a new episode of Sugarfolk Homemade, my knitting podcast where I talk about all the things I have been knitting. And today, knitting is the only thing that I have to show. I am Michaela, for those of you who may be new here, and I'm coming to you from a small town in western North Carolina where I live with my husband and our 3 kids and our little kitten. And for those of you returning, welcome back. I want to give a big thank you to everyone who commented on, not my last video, but my last podcast. You guys are always so nice, and you always blow me away with your kindness. And anytime I'm having like a low day or just like in a weird mood, I literally will read through my comments again because they're so uplifting, and just thank you guys very much. I have a lot to show today, as last time was my longest podcast, and I have a feeling this one might be even longer because I don't know what's gotten into me, but I am just going crazy with the knitting. And I might have to take a break already because our kitten keeps messing with the Christmas tree, which yes, we have already put up. We are those people. We host Thanksgiving at our house for our family, and so I like to have all of the Christmas decor up for the family here because it just makes the house so much more cozy. Yeah, she's like trying to climb the tree right now, and she's knocked an ornament off. Hey Porter, can you get that ornament and put it back on the tree, please? And my son Porter is awake. He doesn't really nap anymore. He's kind of aged out of that, so he's up here with me. But he's just playing some games, so he shouldn't be a distraction. Although you guys love to see my kids, so. Okay, anyways. I have 3 finished objects, 1 half-finished object, and 4 new cast-ons. So only one thing that I'm showing you today is a whip that you've seen before. So this is like unheard of for me. Okay, so we will jump right in. The first finished object I have are these mittens, fingerless mitts. I showed these last episode. They are for my mom for Christmas. I realized I probably should have just said, Mom, don't look at this. Whoops. Yeah, I finished these. This pattern is called Marilla's Mittens. As always, I'll have every link in the description box below because I do not have notes. I never do. So these are the Marilla's mittens, and I just think they turned out so beautiful. You can kind of see I accidentally did 1 less row of ribbing on this one, or maybe no, it was the top. I did 1 less row of ribbing on this one on accident, but I don't think she's gonna notice. But aren't they just beautiful? I love that design. And the green just goes really well with that, I think. And I do have plans to make a pair of these in the same color for myself because I just love them. And it's been very cold here this past week. Our highs have been in like the 40s, but at night it's getting down into the 20s. And it's cold. When we have to go out, I'm freezing. And I don't own gloves, because we typically have, we have cold winters, but they're not crazy. They're pretty mild. And so I've never like had the reason to buy gloves. But now that I'm knitting, I really want to knit myself at least some of these, because I don't think gloves would be practical enough for me because I still need my fingers. But these would be nice even to wear in the house, because sometimes when I'm knitting, we don't have central heat and air. We just have propane fireplaces. We have 1 upstairs and 1 downstairs, and so propane is really expensive right now. So we're trying to conserve, so we're like layering up in the house, and sometimes when I'm knitting, all of my body's warm because I'm all bundled up, but my hands get cold and my fingers get cold, and it gets like, it's kind of hard to knit when your hands are cold. So a pair of these would do lovely for keeping my hands warm while I'm knitting in the house. So as soon as I finish all these gift knits I've got, I'm going to make myself a pair of these because they're just beautiful. And I really think she's going to love them. My mom has a very like a dark olivey skin tone. And I just think this color is going to look really pretty. I don't know, but I think she's going to like them. Oh, the yarn I used for these was just from my local yarn store, but it was a alpaca yarn. So these, when I say soft, I mean they're really soft. And at first I was afraid that the drapiness of this yarn was gonna make the stitch detail not as definite. The cat's climbing the tree again. I may have to put her outside. She's gonna destroy our Christmas tree. Anyways, but I think it turned out really nice. So yeah, that's the Marilla's mittens. I'm gonna take a sip of water. With our house only being heated by propane, it really dries the air out, and my throat has been so scratchy. I really need to start running the humidifier to counteract that. Oh my gosh, this cat. I'm hoping she's not like in the tree. Okay. Hey Porter, can you put Maggie outside, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. She's crazy. Okay. Oh, next finished object, I should probably talk about what I'm wearing. This is my Midway top by Marie Christine of Tricot Designs. Don't drop her.
Let Maggie see what it is.
Go outside, Maggie. Go. Go outside. There she goes. Okay, now shut the door. Thanks, Porter. Oh, that door didn't shut all the way. So, anyways, this is my Midway top by Tricot Designs, and I've shown this on a couple of the past episodes, but it is finished, and I love it. I feel like this pattern embodies my personality. Like, it's everything that I love. It's dainty and feminine, but it's also neutral, and there's some floral involved. All the things that I like. And yeah, it's originally supposed to have long sleeves, but I was working with a specific amount of yarn, and I thought that I was gonna have enough to do the long sleeves, but then I got to here, which isn't even halfway, and I realized I had already gone through half of one skein, and I had 2 skeins left. So I said, that's probably not gonna be enough to do the sleeve. So I just stopped it there and tried it on to see what it looked like, and I really liked it. So I just, I did knit 2 together all the way around in the next size needle down, and then I just bind it off very loosely. The first 2 times I bound it off too tight, and it fit, but it was really tight right here, and it just was uncomfortable. So I had to take it out and kind of tweaked it a few times. I had also done some different decreases here, but this is what worked the best. Just the knit 2 togethers around and then a bind off. And so I just did the same thing on the other side. And yeah, I think they're the perfect little puffy sleeve. They're not too puffy, but they're still cute. I have this issue with puffy sleeves sometimes that they make, because I have short hair, they make my head look really, really small. I mean, I already have kind of a small head. So when I have like big puffy sleeves, I feel like it just makes me look funny. Also, I noticed whenever I was taking pictures of this like 30 minutes ago, I was trying to get just like a still of me standing still like this, and I noticed, and it's driving me crazy, that this trap muscle, and I can even feel it, holy cow, is way bigger than this one. And it like makes my neck like off-centered, it looks. Maybe I need to work on that. I do work out, but I mean, I never noticed that I had this imbalance here. You may not be able to see, but in the pictures when I was just head on and everything was supposed to be centered, it was like lopsided, and yeah. Okay, enough about that. Anyways, on to back to this top. I also did a little bit of modification at the bottom. So this is what mine looks like. Also, these are kind of sitting in a weird, a weird location. They kind of want to like go out, but it's not too bad. Okay, so what I did down here, I wanted it to get tight and kind of like bunch over like that. So before I changed to the smaller needle and went into the ribbing, I think it was like 18 knit two togethers around the base. It was, I think, every 10 stitches or so, or maybe, no, it was 10 knit two togethers, and it was every 18 stitches. And then I went into the ribbing. But I don't think it was necessary because the ribbing needle is not just a size down, it's a whole millimeter down, and I didn't realize that at first. So I think I would have gotten that same effect had I not done the knit two togethers. It was only 10 stitches of a difference, but that's what I did. So yeah, and this was knit in Cloudborne fibers. It was a sport weight, which is not what the pattern recommends, but I did a gauge swatch, like a 2-inch gauge swatch, and it turned out okay. So yeah, the only thing that kind of bugs me is that you can see where I picked up stitches here. When I was knitting it, you could not see that, but after I blocked it, it kind of stretched out. And it's not a big deal. I mean, at least it's consistent, but I would have liked to have had that a little bit more hidden. I need to get better at where I'm picking up stitches and go a little bit further in so that when it pulls, you're not seeing it. Because I have that issue on a lot of my raglan projects, but it's not a big deal, I don't think. Also, this little shell crochet thing right here is so cute. It really just completes the whole thing, and it's supposed to have that on the back neck too, but I thought that might look kind of funky, so I just did some single crochets across just to give it some form because it was wanting to roll over since it was just knit. So yeah, I just did some single crochets on the back because this is crocheted as well, so I just went ahead and did that, and I think it turned out nicely. And I forgot to mention, this Cloudborne yarn is discontinued. Had it not been, I would have just found another skein and gone for the long sleeves, but it wasn't worth the hassle of looking through Ravelry stashes whenever I could just do the puff sleeve, because it really works with this pattern, I think. I'm pretty sure someone else had done that when I was looking through the project pages. Maybe that's where I got the inspiration. Okay, next finished object is one we have all been hearing about for so long, and it's finally finished, and that is my husband's sweater. It's got some creases in it because it's been folded up. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad this thing is done. I called it The Thing on my Instagram, and a couple of you thought that was funny, but that's how I feel about this sweater. It's just the thing, because this thing was a labor of love. My husband's a big guy, as you can see, and this is a fingering weight sweater, so yeah, miles and miles of stockinette. And to think, when I was picking out a pattern for him, I almost went for a moss stitch sweater. Are you kidding me? That thing would never be done. I'm glad I went with this one and not that one. So the only issue I had with this is, and modification wise, is when I was making him, based on his measurements, I was going to make him the extra large. And when I got to the extra large depth, I tried it on him and he really needed some more depth. So I just kept going with the raglan increases. And so then I ended up like starting with the extra large, and I actually ended up with the numbers of the next size. I don't know how it worked out so great, but it did. So then when I got to the sleeves, I just followed the directions for that size of sleeve, which worked because he also has big arms. So yeah, it worked out really nice. And the sleeves were a little bit short at first, which I tried it on him, and he showed me where he wanted the sleeve, and I said, okay, well, let's maybe do it a little bit longer just in case. And he said no, but I did 1 inch longer anyways. And so then the sweater was done, and he tried it on, and he could have used more sleeve length, but when I blocked it, I was able to stretch it a good bit on the sleeves, and now it fits him literally perfect. So perfect. Also, I talked about this a long time ago, but in the neckline, also, I'm pretty sure it used wrap and turns. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just German short rows. But I have a little hole right here. It's not a big deal. You don't notice it when he's wearing it. Anyways, the neckline... Sorry I ramble so much. The neckline is... You do it with a provisional cast on with waste yarn, and then you have to go back in and cut the waste yarn and pull it out, I guess. I don't really know how that works. I didn't read that part when I started this, and so I just cast on normal, and then it said to cut something, and I did, and I got a couple rows out. I just don't understand why. Like, why knit it and then take it back out? I don't know. I should probably just look it up. So where I had accidentally cut too far in one section, and so my ends right here were like this long, and that's not long enough to weave in securely. Well, not even that long, it's like this long. So what I did is I just wove it through the back legs of the knit stitches, and I had to do it with a crochet hook and just pull it through because I couldn't fit a darning needle, you know, it just wouldn't work. And then I took some needle and thread and I just sewed through that back and forth a few times to really secure it. So I don't think it's going anywhere now. But yeah, maybe one day I'll learn how to do provisional cast on. So the neckline of this is not to pattern. I don't really know. I think it's just longer in the pattern. This is like 4 rows of rib, but it kind of works out nice. It looks good on him. And it has a wider neck, which I think he likes too. So yeah, this is complete. And this was Sirdar Country Classic in the color khaki green. It's their classic 4-ply. But this does not look green. This is more of a gray to me. Maybe there's a green undertone, but yeah. And I also plan on wearing this around the house because I worked too hard and too long on this to not wear it. Also, I'll admit, I do kind of miss working on this because when I was working on it, I just laid it in my lap and it was like a blanket because it's so big. It just was my blanket as I was working on it. So it was a really cozy knit, but I am glad it's done. Okay, I need some more water.
I'm gonna do it right here.
Okay, well you've got to turn the volume down a little bit. Or you can wear headphones. Do you want to wear headphones? No? Okay. Turn it down just a little bit more. Okay, I hope you guys can't hear that. Also, now Maggie is scratching at the door. Porter, you want to let her back in? No, you don't want to? Okay, the next thing I have is a half-finished object. And it's actually on my blocking mat. I could take it off, but it's still pretty damp. I thought it was going to be dry by now, but it's not. And this is the mittens that I'm knitting for my daughter, Rosie. Little ballerina mittens. It's really hard to see, I'm not going to lie. So, I mean, it's easier to see in real life. Also, these look terrible on camera. I mean, they don't look so great in person either, but when I started these are the Elsa Loves to Dance mittens. And so you start down here, and when I started the color work here, I realized the contrast between the pink and the white just was not quite enough. But I didn't have any other colors that would work, and she really wanted pink and white. In the balls together, they looked like they would be just fine, but once knitted up, it just didn't look right. But I kept going, and all in this pink section, there's supposed to be like polka dots, and there's like a heart up here. But I figured since the contrast is low already, I need to just stick with the ballerina silhouette, and that's it. So that's what I did. And it does, you can see it more in person. It's really hard to see in this lighting. Maybe if I put it on this side. I mean, you can kind of see there's a ballerina there, but in person it's a little bit more defined. And so I kept the front all pink, and then the back was supposed to have the hearts on it, like down here. But I just did the back solid white, and same with the thumb. I just did it white. And I think they'll be cute. They fit her perfectly. She just tried this one on because I finished it this morning. Now, I had some issues here. You can see how loose some of these stitches are. And I've done color work before, and I've not had this big of a problem with it. But I'll tell you what I did that I think caused those problems. Also, it's really like bumpy, and it just doesn't look that great. But what I was doing, so I knit the hearts at the bottom. I did those the way I would knit any color work. And then when I got to the top, my yarn was getting so tangled, and I was getting really irritated with how many times I was having to stop and untangle it. So I started catching my float. This might be hard to explain. Catching my float and then pulling the yarn back over out of the way where it wasn't tangled up in my working yarn. And then I would, keep going, pull it over, catch it, and then pull it back. And I think by doing that, I was like kind of warping the stitch that I was knitting into because I was pulling it back, and then I don't know, it did not flow as well. I mean, it worked, and I wasn't having to untangle my yarn, but I don't think it was worth it because now I have bumpy patches, and it didn't turn out that great. And when I noticed that, I was around up here, and that's when I started catching my floats, just like letting them fall and then continue in that same line instead of like, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. But I started doing it the right way, and it looked a lot better. So on the second one, now I know to just do it the right way and deal with the tangled yarn. It's not a big deal. I can just pause, untangle it, Excuse him. Hey Porter, can you go back over there? I think your thing is a little bit too loud. You can cozy up in my blanket over there. Or that, you can just do that, that's fine. So yeah, the second one will be better. I could have ripped back the first one and redone it, but she's 4. She does not care, and they're only going to fit her for this year and maybe next year. So it's not like something she's going to have for a long time. So lesson learned. And they got some bumpy edges, and that's fine. The second one will look great, I'm sure. And yeah, the pattern itself is very easy to follow. It's pretty cut and dry, but I would say it's fine for a beginner. If you have at least a basic knowledge of how a mitten works. Yeah. So that are my this is my Elsa Loves Dance mitten. Farther away you can almost see it better. Except for that leg. That leg's kind of disappearing. Well, whatever. It'll be fine. Okay, so moving on to, we'll do new cast-ons next because I'm excited about these. And I just realized I left one on the couch because I was just working on it. So I'll show you the other ones, and then I will go get that one. Okay, so the first one is being held in this bag by Sue. I'll leave her Instagram below. And this was holding my exordium shawl. But I was not really loving that shawl. I love the shawl pattern. I love the pattern. And I will probably make it in the future. But for the colors I had, I just wasn't loving the way that they were playing together. So then I watched Amber from A Lovely Yarn. I watched her shawl video talking all about shawls. And there were a lot of crescent-shaped shawls, and I thought that maybe I should go for a crescent-shaped shawl. And that's what I did. So I started the Beautiful Day shawl by Nadia Cretin-Lechine. Sorry for all the rustling. This is what it looks like.
I might do the famous on your bed.
Okay, bring it to me. And so I ripped out my exordium.
And I'll tell you when I want to do it different.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
Well, you got to scoot over here so I can see your face. Okay. Sorry guys, a brief intermission while I get the child settled. Uh-oh. You know, I could pause the video and then restart it, but oh well. You guys say you love the authenticity and the realness. Oh, there's Maggie. She's climbed up to the window. So I'm just gonna leave it in because this is real life. Porter, this is being really slow.
Yeah, that's because I got too much skin. Nancy got too much.
This cat is going to destroy the screens in our windows. Hey, go let her in real quick because she's just gonna keep begging to come inside. Sorry this is taking so long. Oh my goodness. There we go. Hey Maggie. Shut that blue door, please. Oh, sorry for all the loud sounds. Okay. Ah! Oh no! I just dropped an expensive... Oh no. Now I've messed this up. Okay, it doesn't get more real than this, guys. I'm glad I didn't break this thing. Okay. Now remember, when it gets to the part that asks you to buy something, you gotta exit out, okay?
Okay.
Might have some accidental purchases going on here. There was Maggie's tail, if you saw that. Okay, back to the shawl. So, I ripped out my exordium, which I was knitting with my 2 Malabrigo yarns that I showed a couple episodes ago. And I started this one. Okay, now my daughter's banging on her wall in her room, and she's supposed to be napping. Ah! You could just laugh about it. Okay. So this is what I've got so far. That door, I saw... this is doomed. Everything is so loud right now. Okay. Anyways, this is what I've got so far. And I think I'm liking this a lot better. So this dark green is going to get that big lace panel at the bottom. And I think it's just going to be lovely. This is not going to be done anytime soon because I'm just picking this up here and there. I've got a lot of gift knits going on at the moment, so yeah. I really like this though, and I think I know that I'm going to be much happier with this outcome, with these colors. So, okay, now I think I actually will pause. And Maggie, oh my goodness, she's ripping all the needles out of my mitten that is blocking. Magnolia. Give me that. Give me that. Now get off of that. Okay. I'm going to pause this and shut that creaky door and see what my daughter wants. And then I'll be back and hopefully we will be free of distractions. I'm back. Okay. So, where were we? Let me pack this shawl back up. While I was up, I grabbed my other new cast on that was on the couch. So, that worked out.
Ow, Maggie.
So, I'll show you that one next. Can you turn that down just a little bit, Porter? Just turn the sound all the way down. Thanks. Okay, so this next one I just cast on literally 2 hours ago for my son, Sammy. He's my youngest. He's almost 3. And he's the only one in the family that I have not made something for yet. I've made my oldest son hats and a blanket. I've made Rosie, working on mittens for her. I've made her a sweater and a shawl before, or a poncho. So I figured I would make little Sammy a sweater, and I have a bunch of this blue yarn from the lady that I mentioned a few episodes ago who sent me all of her D-stash yarns for free, just because she was so generous. And so this is the Baby Bee Sweet Delight. It's 100% acrylic, which is necessary. No, it's not. Acrylic and polyamide. Okay, but necessary for messy Sammy. He's literally the messiest child I've ever seen. I mean, I have 3 kids and I babysit other kids. He's hands down the messiest. He knows how to use a spoon and a fork, but he just prefers not to. And, oh my goodness, his laundry. So I needed something that is easy to wash in the washing machine. So this is it. And this is just a basic little raglan sweater. I just started it, so it's just got a 1x1 rib at the top. This is a drops pattern, and I have already forgotten what it's called, but I'll leave the link below. So it's a free pattern, and so far I think it's going to be pretty easy, and I think it'll knit up pretty quickly. This is a DK weight yarn, and the body is knit on a US 6 4mm. So yeah, and I'm knitting the size 3 to 4 years because I would rather it be big on him and I can roll it up, or it can just be a chunky cozy sweater so that he can wear it for longer. And so it's just basic, and then on the raglan areas you increase with yarn overs, and then when you go back through you twist those when you knit them so that it kind of gives like a, I don't know how to explain that. But it just makes a little pattern on the raglan. So that is, whoa. You know, I think I have more I was gonna say I have more things on the needles for other people than for myself, but that's not true. So there's that one. Maggie, you're driving me nuts, girlfriend. She looks so sweet. You stink. Ew. Did you get sprayed by a skunk or something? Whew.
A pizza now.
She is stinky. Oh my goodness. Okay. I hope I didn't just rub her smell off onto my freshly finished Midway top. Okay, so next new cast on is another shawl that I just got a wild hair to do. It's the Vertices Unite by Stephen West. I almost said Shawl West. That would be applicable. He has a lot of shawls. And so I've wanted to knit this for a while, but it takes a lot of yarn, and not just like random stash yarns, because they need to sort of go together, and I just didn't have enough of anything to do that. And I could not afford to just buy that much yarn. But then my monthly Scrappy Sock Club yarns from the Lonely Knitter came in. I talked about that a few episodes ago. It was the Haunting of Hill House month, because they're based on or inspired by a show. And they came in, and the colors matched perfectly with a lot of the colors I did have in my stash. And so I pulled everything together, and I found a way to make up all of the yardage for each color in the pattern. So there's A, B, C, D, E. There's 5 colors, and I only had enough of one color for 2 of those colors. So what I did was I had to put together colors that I thought went well together to make the amount of yardage for the color in the pattern. I hope that makes sense. So I'll explain it as I'm showing the yarns. So the first section that I'm on has you stripe color A and another color. So my color A, together is these. This together makes up the yardage for color A. So, and the other color in this section is this light purple. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knit halfway of this section with the blue for color A, and then I'm going to fade into this one for the rest of the stripes, but the purple will remain the same. And then when color A is brought up again in the pattern, I'll do the same thing. I'll use half in one spot and half in the other so that it still all ties together. So I'm going to be doing that in a lot of areas of the shawl. So I have those colors, and then this is the purple. This is one by Uprooted Farm and Fiber Company that she sent to me a long time ago, and it just keeps on giving. She sent me 3 skeins and I'm still using it. So we got those colors so far. And then this is gonna get loud, I'm so sorry. So much yarn. Okay, and then we have these colors, which will be a color in the pattern, and this is a Sheepius Cotton 8, and this is a Patons Kroy sock yarn, just leftovers. These have a little bit of a green undertone, so I think it goes nice with that. And then I have a Happy Feet little ball of wool in this dark purple, which I do have enough yardage for one of the colors called for in the pattern, so that color actually ends up being a section in the shawl that is just the solid color, so that works nicely. And I think I'll put a picture of the Vertices Unite here so you can see what I mean, how there's different sections. It's like a color block almost. And then the last section, ooh, this is what I'm so excited about. The last section calls for the amount of yardage that all of these minis take. And that section is typically supposed to be one solid color, but I'm going to take all these minis and fade them from the lightest to the darkest in that section. They're not in order here, they're just in a big gom. But again, we've got the same color thing. We've got blues and greens and purples and some neutrals in there. So all together, I don't know if I can hold all these. Why is it shaking? I did not touch it. Okay, so you can see we got blues, purples. Okay, there we go. So I think this is going to turn out really cool. And I've never done fades before, but I looked it up and I think I can do it. And I'm really excited about it. It was just perfect that the colors, so this is all of what I had in my stash, and these are all fingering weights except for this. This is a sport weight, but whatever. We're gonna pretend like it's a fingering weight. But these just came in and I thought, oh my gosh, they match perfectly with all these other colors that I have. It's time to make that shawl. And it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna take me a long time, of course, just like the other one, but that is fine. This is one I think I'm going to really enjoy the process of. So yeah, that is that so far. Just got some stripes going on. Kind of looks like a witch's hat from The Wizard of Oz or something. That's what it reminds me of right here. I loved that movie when I was a kid. It's like my favorite movie. Okay, let me put all this back. I'm going to try to avoid the crinkly noises. Okay. And I'm holding all of this in this giant bag that I got from Friends and Fiberworks, a yarn store about an hour from me. It's the largest LYS in our region, and it's amazing. Okay, next new cast on is just a simple little pair of socks for my dad for Christmas. I wasn't planning on knitting him socks. I had thought about it and then I thought, nah. But I don't know what else to get the man. What do you buy dads? I feel like I've gotten him all the gifts I could ever think of in the past. So, hand knit socks. He loves to hunt and fish, and he's a very outdoorsy man. And I saw this yarn. I've had this yarn for a while, but when I saw it, I immediately thought of him. And it's the West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply in the colorway Mallard. It's just like the other socks I just knit, the red ones for myself, where they have the stripes, but the stripes are kind of cut up. But it's these colors. And the reason this reminds me of my dad so much is when I was young, like I'm talking earliest memories that I have of my childhood, maybe 4 years old. My dad had sheets. This is when my parents were split whenever I was really young. And my dad's sheets were white with mallards on them. And these exact colors, just little mallards. And I think there might have been some stripes involved. A very manly sheet set. And I just remember his bed being so comfy. Like, I just loved, everybody loves to sleep in their parents' bed, So when I saw this colorway, I thought of him, and that's why I bought the yarn, and I thought eventually I would make him socks. Well, now here I am. So what I've done is just a 2x2 rib, and I did a 72 stitch cast on. I think that's right. And since I don't have his foot here with me to check the size, I'm doing a rib on the whole sock. But I didn't want to do too many ribs because then it's going to take me more time to knit these, and I'd like to have them done by Christmas. So I did a 5x1 rib, which is pretty doable. And you almost can't even tell. Well, you can here actually. So yeah, they're very stretchy because of the rib. And I think this is where I'm gonna stop to do the heel. I need to have my husband try this on. Him and my dad have around the same foot size, so I want to see where he thinks I should start the heel. I'm assuming he's gonna wear these when he goes out like hunting when it's really cold, and maybe hiking. So I'm trying to think about like the kind of shoes he wears. Usually are a little bit higher on the ankles, so I need the sock to be a little higher too. So yeah, that is those. I feel like my grammar is terrible when I come on here. I know how to speak, but then I come on here and it just goes out the window. Okay, next new cast on. I've been so excited about this. I talked about this last time, and this is my Christmas sweater. I told myself I wasn't going to cast this on until my vest, which I'll show you next, is done, but I just couldn't wait. I mean, I finished two big projects this week, this and my husband's sweater, so I owed it to myself to follow my heart and cast this on. And this is the Malwina sweater by Vertices Unite. And you guys, on my last episode, I talked about this pattern. And then I got a message on Instagram that said, "Oh, I loved your podcast. I'm so excited to see your Christmas version of the Malwina sweater." And this is the person that I follow, Vertices Unite. And I said, "Oh my gosh, you are Alexandra." I had no idea because on here it just says her name. It doesn't say, well, it does at the top, but on Ravelry it has her name. And I just didn't make the connection. But anyways, she's a sweetheart and her patterns are lovely. She has a lot of like dainty, feminine kind of patterns. So if you like that, go check her out. Also, before I show you the sweater, she has offered you guys a discount code for all of her patterns. I believe it's 20% off, and the code is Sugarfolk. I'll put that here and I'll put it in the description box as well. And she just released a neck warmer that is so cute. It's so dainty and just like, oh, it's just so cute. And I think I might knit that in the future. We shall see. I've got a lot going on already, but it's really cute. And she's really sweet. And she actually just called for testers for this cardigan that, oh my gosh, it is beautiful. You'll have to go to her Instagram to see it. But it's so pretty. And if I did not already have like 1,000,001 things going on, I would have test knit that. But I cannot wait till she releases it because it's beautiful. Okay, so Malwina sweater. I'm knitting this in wool, Paintbox Yarns Wool Mix Aran, which is a mixture of wool and acrylic. And I just started this 2 days ago, I want to say. Uh-oh. Okay. And I have finished the short rows, and now I'm just working the raglan details. And yeah, this is going to be so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love the raglan detail here. And this color is just beautiful. This, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I originally thought that I was going to crop this and cinch it in at the bottom so that it had that overlay like this does with more intensity. But I have enough yarn to do like the full thing, big and cozy. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm knitting a medium. I would usually wear a small, but I don't know, I'm feeling the cozy vibes with this one for Christmas. So it's a very feminine looking pattern because of the sleeves and all the detail and the lace. But I just think it would be the perfect mixture of cozy and feminine at the same time. So that's what I'm doing. And I think I might be able to finish this by Christmas and wear it on Christmas Day. That's my goal, because this is my Christmas sweater after all. So we shall see. I will say the pattern, I just said that's so weird. The pattern tripped me up a little bit in the beginning. Just because of the way she has it laid out. She gives you sections of like, this is how you work the raglan detail. This is how you do your raglan increases. Now here's how you do the yoke, and you have to refer back to those sections instead of it just being like all laid out, which is totally fine. I feel like a lot of patterns are that way. I'm just so used to my Lana vest that I've been working on, which has literally every single row is completely written out. And so when I got to this, I was just like dumbfounded, and I got like 6 or 7 rows into the yoke, and then I realized I had completely skipped over a part where she tells you how to work the yarn overs. And so I had to rip it back because I wanted that detail. And I'm not good at, I mean, I guess I can do it. And nobody's like an expert, I'm sure, but ripping back and being able to pick up all your stitches and then still knowing where your beginning of round was, and it's very stressful to me. So I told my kids, I was like, okay, nobody talk to me for like 20 minutes. And I sat there, I unwound it row by row, and then I got to the ribbing and said, okay, this looks about right. So I did that, and then I put my beginning of round marker in, and then I realized 2 sets of my ribbing were shorter than the other one. So I realized my BOR was in the wrong place. So switched that over, got it fixed. Now we're smooth sailing. I just have to remind myself, there's a lot of things going on in the yoke and the increases that are all going on at the same time. And so I just have to be mindful of that when I'm working on it. So it's not super mindless, but it's not like, I'm not having to like really, really focus. I just have to be mindful of what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm really excited about that sweater. It's gonna be so beautiful. I'm hoping I have enough yarn to make it long enough to like cover my hips and my bum with some leggings. And then I have some little clog boots or my Doc Marten boots to wear with that. And I can't wait. Beautiful. I think I'm gonna work on this when I'm done filming, because I have to edit, so. Okay, I need some more water. I'm so parched. Okay, so that's all my cast-ons. I have one whip to show, and that is my Lana vest. I think I hear my daughter knocking on her door again. All of my kids have been not like sick, but just kind of down with a cold. They've all got a really bad cough, and she has been the sickest. It's not even that sick, but her eyes are just watering. Like, you can tell she's so tired. And I told her, you really need to take a nap, because when you rest, that's when your body gets better. And she agreed, and she acted like she was going to go to sleep, but I think she's just been playing in her room. It might be an early bedtime tonight. Okay, so this is my Lana vest. Gotten a good amount done since last time. I have, how many more? I have 2 more repeats of this to go down, and then I'll go to the ribbing. Or maybe it's 3 more. Something like that. This is turning out to be so cozy. It's really heavy, and I can just imagine wrapping up in it and it just being like a hug. It feels so nice. And, oh, so this project takes my US 9 needles, and my Malvina sweater takes my US 10 needles. But I only have 1 set of the adapters to connect the big needles to the cords that I have, because I just have the basic standard Chigu cords. Chigu, I don't know which one it is. So it's really annoying to switch them, because not only do I have to switch the needle, I have to switch the adapter. So I finally just ordered another pair of adapters, so I'll have one on each set of those, because I don't have any needles above US 10. And then it'll be easier for me to switch between this and my Malvina sweater. Because right now, I haven't worked on this in a few days because my needles are on my red sweater. And yeah, I would like to have this finished soon though, because it's just so cozy. And look at those stinking cables. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. Like, looking at them in person, they look beautiful, of course, but looking at them in the camera, like from far away, and that you can still see all the detail, I don't know, it's beautiful. I'm finding that I really like busy patterns like this. I find that I knit them a little bit quicker, or I have more of an interest to work on them because I'm involved and I don't know, it's not challenging, but I'm having to use my brain every row, and every row is a little different, so it keeps my interest. Yeah. Hopefully this will be done by the next time I film a podcast, which I'm not sure if I'm going to film another one before Vlogmas starts, because it's already, today's Friday, November something, 18th? Something like that. And Thanksgiving is next Thursday, which happy Thanksgiving to all of my American viewers out there. And yeah, then it's gonna be December, and I'll be vlogging maybe every day, maybe every 2 days. I don't really know how I'm gonna do it yet. We'll just have to wait and see. And I may film a podcast maybe like mid-December or closer to Christmas. I don't know. We will see. I was gonna say something else about that. Oh, thank you for those of you who watched my vlog and enjoyed it. That was a little out of my ordinary, well, I mean, it was not a normal video for sure. And it was a little out of my comfort zone, but it was well received. Not as many views as my podcasts, but that's fine. I do this because I enjoy it, and those of you who do watch and do comment, that's why I do it, because you guys are also lovely. And I feel like I've made a lot of friends through these platforms. They have their flaws, but I've made a lot of friends, and yeah, I'm on a tangent. Okay, so that's all the knitting I have to show. I do have one acquisition, which is really fun, and that is some sock yarn. I actually ended up ordering another ball of this yarn, which is more of the Paint Box Yarn Wool Mix Aran. I ordered another ball because I just couldn't see, I had a half of one and then another ball left, and I just could not see that finishing this out and doing all the ribbing. Now I feel like it might be enough, but I wasn't sure, so I went ahead and bought another ball, and it is the same dye lot. I figured the sooner I did it, the more chance that it would be the same dye lot, so that worked out. And I didn't want to place an order and pay for shipping for just one ball of yarn, so of course I got another one. And I got this Paint Box Yarns sock yarn, and this one is in the colorway Fair Isle Fantasy. Now you can't tell from looking at it, this just looks like it's self-striping, But I'll put a picture over here of what they look like knit up. I think they are so cute. They're so like whimsical but colorful and like eclectic. I don't know, I thought they were so cute, and the colors would be perfect for spring, which is honestly probably around the time I'll get to this. And yeah, I just thought it was super fun. So got that, and they have a few other colors that do the same kind of patterning, and I can see me purchasing those in the future because they are just so fun. But yeah, that's my acquisition, and that's all the knitting that I have to show. I feel like I had some sort of a life update or something, but I don't think so. I don't know, I always feel awkward towards the end because I feel like there's things I'm forgetting, but maybe not. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, and you have an Instagram, I would love if you would follow me there. I'm much more active over there, and I am able to engage with you guys a little bit easier. But I do engage in the comments as well. I always enjoy reading your comments, so always feel free to leave comments. And if you enjoyed this and you are not already subscribed, please do subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for following along with my knitting journey, and thank you for just everything, everyone that I have come across in the knitting world has been so kind, and yeah, it's just very appreciated. And I'm very thankful that I took that leap of faith to start a YouTube, because I never would have thought that almost 3,000 people would care about what I was doing, and that just is crazy. It's still like, when I think about just how many people are subscribed, it like makes me nervous that that eventually you guys are gonna see who I really am, and you're not gonna like me or something. That's a dumb thing, I know, but like, because this is just me. But I don't know, it just seems crazy. Like, if there was a room full of 3,000 people, there's no way I could just sit there and talk to them. And that's just subscribers. My last 2 podcast episodes have gotten a lot of views, and I'm very thankful for that. But it makes me nervous, because I'm like, are they going to find something that they don't like about me? Or, that's just anxiety talking. But I promise to all of you who comment on my last video, I promise to stay true to myself and authentic, because I don't know how to be anything else, honestly. And I have no desire to put on any kind of facade or anything, so yeah. That was quite the tangent. This always happens. Anyways, that's all I've got. I'm gonna go knit for the rest of the day with my kids playing and just chilling around the house because it's really cold, and yeah, it's just kind of a cozy, resting day. I'm hoping that all this rest will help them kick their little cold to the curb, because they sound terrible. Their little coughs. And I could feel like I probably have one coming myself because my throat's been very itchy. But yeah, I'm gonna go, first I gotta clean up all this mess, and then I'm gonna go knit. So I hope you guys have a lovely weekend and a lovely Thanksgiving if you celebrate, and I will see you in December. Bye.